tea and tangy lemonade talk. You know what we bout. Hosted by Gun and Gal. Hey, sweet tea and tangy lemonade talk. You know what we bout. Hosted by Gun and Gal. I heard everything sweeter in the South. Ain't no mistaking. Keep it real and authentic. Come and join the conversation. Talking about relationships. Have some fun. I know you wanna. Hanging with some Southern belles. Mix it with some Arnold Palmer. Sweet tea and lemonade talk.
Hey everybody!
Facebook and maybe we should just go ahead and say hey YouTube too, because eventually we're gonna get it on YouTube.
That's
hey
right.
Instagram. Hey everybody that's on. Okay, we got one person. Let me.
We need to start getting these viewers up. Come on, everybody who's on, tag someone. Let them know.
You know what? They might not come though, because remember we kept playing around with the thing earlier, and we was
This
making.
This is not a test. This is not a test.
Yes. This is the real deal. All right, I see 3 people. Okay, all right. I don't know who those 3 people are, but thank you.
For joining us, folk.
Yes, and if you look in the caption, you can see what the Arnold Palmer conversation is about tonight. I'm Arnold Palmer, a little spiked.
Me too. Hey.
Best drinks. Okay, so when is it okay to walk away from any type relationship? So we're not just going to be talking about man, woman, man, whatever type relationships. We're saying any type relationships, whether that's a friendship, a marriage, a relationship, whether that is a job relationship or
the kids.
Any type. Kids, there you go. When is it okay to walk away? So Shayna, have you had to ever ask yourself, is now the time for me to walk away? Do you ever have to sit and ponder? Do I walk away? You know, I've done that several times. Where I've had to say, all right, do I stick in here or do I get up out of here?
Yeah, you got to know when to walk away, especially if it becomes a toxic situation, regardless of who is with, what type of relationship it is. If it is no longer an asset to you, you don't need a liability, sis. You'll walk away.
Ooh, girl, like
you'll walk away.
I like the way you put that. What's that song? Walk away. Y'all, I should have had this already. We done been playing around with this thing. Here we go. Ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis. Y'all remember Temptations?
Y'all nothing without me.
I forgot the song.
Yes, ma'am.
You know what? I can't see no comments.
Where everybody at? I need y'all to come on now. Share. Where y'all go?
It's not that I don't love you.
Dang it, David.
You know how much I do.
Ooh, that made me want to just take a little swig, girl. Take a swig.
To take the place of you.
All right, y'all get the point.
Y'all get the picture. Y'all get what we saying.
David say it's okay to walk away. Okay to walk away from love, but you can walk away from anything. Like my co-host said, anything that's toxic to you, anything that is just not being an asset, is being a liability, it's pulling away from you. I feel like then now is the time.
Got to be all done with it. All done,
girl.
And when it starts messing with your inner peace at the same time, that's the most important part. Because I'm not letting nothing or anyone drive me bananas. I need my mind frame, baby.
But you know what? It took me getting to this stage in life for me to realize that. It took me getting to my late 30s, going into my 40, for me to say, you know what? Time to go. This right here ain't working.
Right.
You know? Because in them 20s, you keep trying to put up with stuff and you keep trying to pacify.
Thinking you could change and save the world and you find the good in every situation. And maybe, just maybe, if I do this could help to change that. Nah, you got to know when to walk away. Just walk away. I use
So
this all the time. I'm like, at my age, I'm not trying to keep and or make friends or do nothing new. I'm content with what I got going on. That's just that.
no new friends, right?
No, non toxic vibes. Like my hometown people that had a little t-shirt business. That's their thing. Non toxic vibes. I ain't got time.
Like that, girl. I'm gonna need you to get me one of them shirts.
Yes,
Hello.
ma'am. I'ma sure reach out, Nika. If you're listening, we gonna hit you up for a non toxic vibe t-shirt, girl.
Non-toxic vibes. Who else want that? But yeah, so when is it okay to walk away? So when is it ever okay to walk away from like a job or church or like you say kids, um anybody in your family? Like I have a girlfriend, I'm not gonna call her name, but I have a girlfriend who literally she probably ain't talked to her mom. Let me see. I've been out of school 20 years. She about 10 years older than me. So she probably ain't talked to her mom about 30, 35 years. Yeah. But if
Ooh.
she tell her story, you would say, "Oh, I see why."
Well, if she protecting her inner peace, so be it. Sometimes you gotta be okay with that, regardless of who it is.
Mm-hmm. But and she learned that
5
at a
years,
young
that's a
age.
long
It
time.
could be, unless something has changed since we last talked. Yeah, and she
Wow.
learned that at a young age. I want to say right after high school, she was.
Protecting her inner peace.
Mm-hmm.
Dang,
Why
but
does
it's
it
kind of
take us
hard when
so
it's your
long?
parents though. Like, cause you kind of think of, okay, this is the person who gave me life in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you completely disconnect from that? You know what I'm saying? Like, but once again, if it's causing some mental anguish and disturbing your inner peace, you got to do what's good for you. Because if you go and stroke out, have a heart attack, and croak, they're going to still be doing the same stuff. So you just got to walk away. Got to walk away. Dang, that's a long time. I can't. You
You
do the
still
number
on it.
out there, and I'm like,
You still on it.
yeah.
I'm gonna say at least 30 because I've been out
That's
of school 20. She's 10 years older than me, so
who
at
did you
least
just
30.
acknowledge that you've been out of high school 20 years, girl?
And don't book it.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
I don't mind saying it. I don't mind telling people I'm in my 40. Mhm.
Yeah.
So um I have to give her kudos because she learned that lesson in her probably before her 20s. Because yeah, we graduate 18. It like I say, it took me a long time for
Yeah.
me to learn it. I think this was my thing. I don't walk away until my soul feel like it's exhausted. And I
It's
think by
uneasy.
yeah. And by that time it's like it's too late, I feel like. Well, it's
Oh, the
never too late.
damage is already done at that
The
point.
damage is done is non-repairable. Um
And then you're stuck trying to pick up the pieces of what you have left so that you can rebuild to move on to the next situation. I
right.
think we find ourselves doing that a little too often though. We sacrifice too much of who we are to a whole bunch of situations who don't deserve a portion of what we give out. You know?
Exactly. Exactly. But is it that women do that or do men do that too? Like I wonder, and I swear I wish I could see
I,
a comment on here because I wonder, do men do the same thing or is it just us? And then we both will admit that we're empaths. So
yes.
does that make us stay even longer?
It does. And you know what? We're easy targets. People can smell the fact that we're empaths. They can smell that.
Don't come for us. And we done said that now. Because we look at it and remember we in our 40 now. We know
Yeah,
better now.
they could smell that on us. So then we find ourselves having people and things attached to us that this literally is gonna suck us dry. I know for me, once I've given so much to a situation, I mentally have to shut down. Like I literally have to just cut myself off from the world for a couple of days in order to regroup because I carry whatever it is that or whomever that I'm trying to help out. I carry that so heavy on my shoulders, and sometimes that's some heavy weight, girl. Like I don't want. Sometimes I'm like, okay, God, why you gave this to me for me to have to be able? I don't want that. I don't want that. So I need you to ease up, Jesus, a little bit on putting that on me. But people, those hounds, man, they smell it on us. They smell it on us, and they will suck everything out of us that they can. or situations, jobs, even jobs. I know I was working at this one school. I ain't gonna say no the name of the school now, because I'm just in case I gotta go back. They knew that I was dedicated to that situation. And when I tell you they utilized me way too much, to the point where I was like, you know what, I ain't doing this. I ain't making enough money for them to just continuously beat me up and use me. I have to protect my inner peace. But whenever they see that you are willing to go above and beyond to help them to get to their next level or whatever goal they're trying to achieve, they gonna keep. Who wouldn't keep climbing the ladder or walking, stepping on your back for them to grow? You know what I'm saying? I'm tired of people doing that to me back there.
I
Because
feel
like
you.
you
I feel
said,
you.
we in our 40, we ain't got time.
And I afford it. And I afford it. You know, because I can tell you, we got 40 years behind us. We don't know how many years we got ahead of us.
True. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yeah, we want some feedback. And plus, I need one man to come and tell me, is it just us women that don't know how to walk away? Or is it y'all too? Or is it that we just need to learn to walk away much faster? You know, I had a girlfriend a couple weeks ago. She cried to me, and I thought she was crying about the situation that went on. And she said, no, it's not the situation. It's the time that I lost still being in that situation.
And
And
that's one thing you can't reclaim, man. Once that time is gone, that is it. There's
that's it.
no getting that time back.
Nope. Nope. All you got is some scars, broken heart. And yeah, you got a lot of life lessons. You got a lot of things that you can tell other people, but it's just like, mm, if I'd have learned this in my 20s, you know.
Be going through this right now. Wouldn't be going through this right now. But I will say I'm grateful for a lot of the situations, even the bad ones, because it helped to build my character for the woman that I am to stand before you today. You know, like, because I
Mm-hmm.
ain't gonna lie, I was naive whenever I was younger. I came from a sheltered household. Like, I ain't never heard my mom and my daddy screaming, fuss at each other. I ain't never heard my daddy beating on my mama, cheating, none of that stuff. So whenever the real world hit me, I'm like, wait a minute, what is
Yeah.
this? Yeah, I didn't know. Okay, now I see a chat.
All right, we got
Dr.
to come.
Latanya Davis said, scars are necessary for healing. You are so right.
Oh, let me tell you about Dr. Latanya Davis. Dr. Latanya Davis, she ain't from my hometown, but she's in my hometown now. She's trying, not trying. She is opening a transitional home for domestically abused families, not just women, because
Okay.
men go through it, women go through it,
Right.
children go through it. So when she's talking about those scars, she's talking about not just herself, but other stories that she hears from people
Mm-hmm.
that won't tell their story. You
Right.
know,
Okay, Miss Latiffany Highly Favored said, hi, ladies. Blessings. Blessings to you, darling.
that's Tiffany. Hey girl.
Yeah.
Hey girl. Okay, all right. So we got some people coming in.
Yep.
We need some men to come and
Yeah.
answer this. Do women just go through this, or do men go through it too? Do men not know when to walk away? I agree, Dr. Davis. Without the lessons, we would never learn how to handle difficult, challenging situations. That's my girl, Keisha. Hey, yes.
But that is a true statement. The scars are very necessary for healing. As long as you don't keep picking back at them same, if you don't let that scab grow, keep picking and growing back, you'll be fine. My
Just be
my story,
keeping under that band-aid.
yeah, yep, it's true. So when we talk about that, when we ask about the men and if they go through that as well, then we start to wonder, because men are supposed to be the head of the household. And we are supposed to submit to the head of the household. So the big question is, are we fully able to submit to someone who is not following the head master himself? Because I know for me, I can't expect my children, my daughters, to operate and behave a certain way whenever they didn't see that with me. So you have to live by example, and then you have to walk the walk, not just talk it. So if, let's just say, because everybody that knows me personally knows my husband, and I can honestly say that I trust his leadership as far as our household, not only because what he's displayed within our marriage, but because he consults with God first before everything. And that's one of the most important factors of having a successful household, marriage, just life in general. Whenever you're following order, I use that all the time. We have to continuously live in order. Order is God first, husband, wife, and then everything else falls underneath. But if you don't have a man that is willing to live in that order, are we supposed to submit to people who are not living in order?
I don't think so, because, and this is where a lot of men and women get it twisted. They hear that word submit, but submit actually comes from the Bible. And
Right.
the Bible, you can't sit and say, well, you got to submit to me because that's what the Bible say, but you don't submit to anybody. You're not saved. You don't go to church. You don't pray
Right.
about the situation. You don't pray over our household. You know, so, and it's like people will expect you to submit. All right, y'all got to go off camera for a minute because I'm frozen.
What?
People, they
There you
will
go.
expect you to submit, but then they themselves are not submitted. So I don't think, me personally, I don't think that you can follow anybody who is not following someone, because that's just like the blind leading the blind. You
Yep.
know, where we going?
You can't guide me because you can't see yourself.
Can't see yourself.
You can't see yourself. You're blind, like you said, blind leading the blind. And then when we go back to biblical and when we go back to scripture, Ephesians 5:22 to
Girl, you
20.
might need to read it to the people. Go ahead and read it. You got yours pulled up.
Got it pulled up.
Okay,
Not gonna
what does
read
it
the
say?
whole thing. So it says wives, and this is where that it gets misconstrued sometimes. Wives, submit to your husbands as to the Lord. For the husband is the head of the house, and as Christ is the head of the church. So, with that being said, I ain't fixing to submit to Lucifer. So, if you are not, oh, who's Joy? Hey, hey.
Let me tell you about Joy. And hey, Joy. Joy is a pastor. Her is of the cloth. So this right here will be good for Joy, because Joy she can add in on this right here. And that's my newest business partner.
Okay,
Submission
Dr.
is
Davis.
cliche word. Wait a minute, y'all going too fast. Hold on now. Cliche word for the flesh that man use. That's a whole new segment for me. Submission is biblical, not earthly. Exactly.
Yes, ma'am.
Yep. But it be them earthly folks that like to be hollering about submission. And it's like, what?
All right, and then
Mm-hmm.
Harlan says, as we get older, we think about what you was taught when you were younger, and a light comes on and you realize your worth. Yes. Girl, that when I tell you, oh, she said yes, ma'am. When I tell you there are levels to submission, you're right, Joy. When I tell you it took a minute for my light bulb to come, I'm like, I ain't supposed to be dealing with this. I'm worth far more than what I'm getting back. I ain't fixing to do that. It took a minute, but when that light bulb came on, girl, you couldn't. I was not allowing that light bulb to burn. I'm not. I refuse to allow someone else to dim my light just for them to be able to shine. I can't do that. Cannot do that.
Mm-hmm.
Joy
Mm-hmm.
says there are levels to submission. So Joy, let me ask you, what are you? Can you give us an example of what you mean when you say there are levels to submission?
Is it the hierarchy that you're talking about when you say levels, where is God, man, woman, and everything else?
Let's see.
And then also, you know what? It says wives. That's another thing that get messed up, because you'll be in a relationship, not even a marriage, and they'll want you to submit. Oh, I'm the man. You gotta listen to me. I ain't your,
Good
I ain't your wife, and we who
girl,
you
Helen
following?
said, while you carrying the weight. Yes, ma'am. So I ain't supposed to carry it all now. We're not supposed to. Okay, she said yes, the hierarchy.
Submission isn't always physically or mentally. Hmm. Joy, we need you to
Elaborate on that, sister. She
girl,
said the
what
hierarchy. Okay. Man, I wish we
who
could
is
get her
it?
on so she could say it verbally.
Do you want me to send Joy this? Joy, would you get on? Like actually get into the studio with us?
She said, let me put on clothes.
Oh Lord, Joy, you ain't got to cut your camera on, girl. You can just talk. You can just talk. What I love about Joy though is Joy is young, so she's not like that old school what we grew up in, the thous and the these, the
Mm-hmm.
you gonna be damned to hell because you ain't listening to your husband and your husband can knock you all over the head, but you still got to deal with him.
Ain't nobody got time for that. Hey, Terrence Coleman. He say, hey, hey. We got a
Hey
man in the
Tico.
we got a man in here.
That's
Okay.
one of my other partners, and Tico can tell about that. What was that question that we asked? Tico, do y'all as men know when to walk away, or do y'all do like us and will just stick it in there?
Okay, Tiffany said you can limp, be injured, disappointed, let down, but still walk. So situations are necessary, but should not come to cripple us. Now, should you follow a horse without a head is foolery and not cool. Leading the yeah, girl, you right.
There we go. There we go. Joy, did I just send it to you? Yep, I think I did. I think
She
I
says,
did.
okay. T Cole says it depends on your motive. Hmm.
Um. All right, let me come back. Joy, how you a pastor and you shy?
Girl,
Well, you know what? I'm shy too. Really, I am. My grandma
girl.
had to beat that out of me. Yeah, she used to tell me all the time when we at church, stop being so bashful.
I ain't
And
never thought that from you.
mhm, I did. Or maybe it's just I
So
ain't want old people like
let's
me.
let's get Terrence Coleman's opinion when he said it depends on your motive. Care to elaborate?
Tico might have to go into our meeting. So Tico, you're saying it depends on the motive as to when a man walks away? Because that was the question. So
Mm-hmm.
our first topic was when is it okay to walk away from any type relationship? And we were saying as women, as empath, we stay in these relationships too long. All right, Joy. Hey, Pastor.
Hey,
So
Miss
we wanted to know. Look at her smiling. Oh, let me bring it on. So Tico, we wanted to know: do men go through the same thing um, of staying in any type relationships too long, or is it just women? So that's what we're asking. I don't even know if he's still on. Oh, look at my cousin. Yes, grandma did not allow bashful, not at all.
I would have
We
been.
had to go to church and we had to talk to them people. Hey, cuz, what's going on, girl? How you doing, Jamonica? All right, Joy, you on? Hey, Pat. Okay, so tell me, what is your official title? Is it minister? Is it pastor? Um,
Even
It's just
eulogist? Is
it's just
what?
I don't go by the title. I don't care about the title. It's just a piece of paper.
Well, what the paper say?
The paper says I'm just licensed to preach. So
Okay.
I'll be officially, for man's sake, I'll be officially ordained in October, and that's when they put REV in front of you. But it's still just,
you just Joy.
yeah,
That's what's up, Joy.
yeah.
That's what's up.
So now, Joy, tell us about these levels you're talking about.
All right, it's different levels to submission. I learned this in seminary, actually.
Write this down. She learned
Uh,
this in seminary. Okay, y'all. Mm-hmm.
but most of it is something that we already know. Kind of like what you said earlier. You're not going to submit to Lucifer. Your intuition, your already intuition and discernment, your energy, your vibe is going to already let you know when to submit.
Right.
Um, so the first level, like you said, Erica, has to do with God. or whoever you think God is. It's
Right.
certain things that you are going to submit to God because you want a certain outcome. For example, Lent is almost over. Some people gave up some things to get a specific outcome. So you are submitting yourself to let God use you so you can receive something in return. So that
Right.
one level of submission, like you, it's to gain something. So I'm going to submit to God. The next level of submission is to yourself. So it's God, then it's yourself. You have to submit to yourself first before you can be able or be in a position to submit to someone else.
Okay, Joy. Thank you, girl. You dropping
Interesting.
them nuggets for us tonight.
Interesting. Okay.
Because if I don't know what I want, how can I get you to give me what I want? How can I ask you to submit when I don't even know what I want you to submit to?
Child, ain't that a whole word? Yeah, you're
That
right.
is a whole word. Somebody needs to be preaching on that in that premarital counseling.
Yes, ma'am.
Because I don't think they ever mentioned that. Girl, Joy, you better do some premarital counseling too. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Look at me putting that into the universe, girl. Go ahead and get the coins. Because
Okay.
I don't recall them talking about what you just said.
Right.
How can you submit or ask anyone else to submit to you if you don't know what you want?
It's true.
Right. That's like asking the blind to lead the blind. Like, you need to submit. How? I don't know, just submit. What?
Yeah, make that make sense. It doesn't.
Like, so I mean that's one. So you got God, yourself, and then it's just everything else you want in general. It could be just general submission. We submit to our job whether we like it or not because we need the money.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's
Period.
one. Period.
Right.
If you are a parent, you submit to your children.
Mm-hmm.
That's a
Because you were
given.
given that
You were
assignment.
given that assignment. That's a form of submission. Whether you happy with it or not, that's just your
Right.
assignment. That's just your
Right.
assignment for that time. And then it's submitting to your friends, your ships. That should be like the last level of submission. And then you have to understand that submission and settling are two different things. We tend to confuse submitting with settling. So if I have to submit in order to keep you or to be with you, so I'm going to submit, but I'm settling. I'm not happy, but you want me to I love this relationship, so I'm going to submit. I'm settling
Girl.
for the feeling or the attachment that is attached to who I'm submitting to. So submit and settle are like two different things. You got to define what submission is. But before
Mm.
you can do any submission, you must know what submission is. And everybody's level and definition of submitting is different.
Wow.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
You shed a
Mm-hmm.
lot of light on that when you said there's this level. And actually, you're making me think now. I'm gonna have to go back and reevaluate some of my some of the ways. I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Am I following that? But I'm
Right.
glad you came on and you gave an explanation because, of course, by us reading it, we can kind of,
Mm-hmm.
but you're verbalizing it. It makes sense.
Right.
It makes sense.
Like, and then if you think about it, our grandparents submitted based on what that time was.
Hmm. You're right.
Like, that's all they knew. My parents, they submit in a way that they knew. And my brother and I and everybody else, we submit based on what we saw or what we thought submission was. But
Right.
again, until you get your own definition of submission, then you can go. Like that whole thing about I came in at the tail end of that scripture. That's just you gotta remember, man interpreted
Right. Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Look at me go.
it,
Mm-hmm.
and what
Mm-hmm.
they wrote was based on their needs of that time. So
Right.
most of the stuff in there,
It's like, makes you wonder, right?
very questionable.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
A woman is naturally submissive to a man who she
Defined
trusts to
naturally.
lead. Well, I'm just reading this. And it says a
Joy
woman is
ready for the smoke. She
naturally.
say define.
She did say that, define it, but this is something I'm just reading. A woman is naturally submissive to a man who she trusts to lead, even if she is an alpha female.
What's trust?
Joy, you bringing in a whole bunch of other little topics.
No,
Yeah.
I know.
Girl,
I'm just saying. All of
we
that.
gonna
All of
have
that
to
plays
say what
into.
is trust.
all of that plays into submission, because
It
I
does.
could trust you in this moment, this is a temporary trust. I trust based on what you're showing me, and now that I'm submitting, here comes a totally different person.
Yeah, that mask. Some of the masks come off after they get you where they want to get you.
Right. So again, what is naturally? Am I naturally supposed to submit because this is the energy you're giving me today? Am I naturally supposed to submit because I'm comfortable, I'm at peace, or I feel safe with you? No.
Yeah.
Nah, that's not my aura. I'm naturally happy. I'm naturally joy.
Right.
But that don't mean much. That's just who I am naturally. That doesn't mean I have to bring joy to everybody else.
Right, right, right. Girl, you saying some stuff. Joy, you got some comments over here. Let me go back
Yeah,
over.
let's go and see.
Girl, cause the people excuse me. So Medine, hey girl. She said when we are emotionally abused, spiritually abused, and physically abused, that's for anyone in my book. I do marital counseling for soldiers in the military. She is a soldier. That's how I met her. Her
Okay.
son was one of my babies.
Thank you for
And
your
we trying to get Joy into this marital counseling too, because she's saying some things that Jamonica is also saying. I totally agree. Neither do I remember that. She's saying in marital counseling, she don't remember the things that you pointed out that they said. I don't remember that either.
right.
But you know who does the marital counseling? I'm just saying, ain't been no woman.
Exactly.
We're gonna leave it at that. We're gonna leave it at that.
You ain't had to say it
Yeah, we ain't
like
trying to
when you
stir up no
said
pots.
when you said I didn't hear it in marital counseling, I already knew what type of counselor you had.
Girl, okay, okay. So yeah, we gonna need you to jump on that, cause there's a lot of women, a lot of couples that's missing it. Terrence say now that's good, but Dean say okay, Miss Joy. Jamonica gave you some hand
Girl, yeah,
claps,
you
girl.
just brought so much light. Like
Yes.
now my wheels are turning, and I'm even having to reevaluate my desires when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
certain things, because it just makes you think like, okay, am I just going by what I thought was the right or what I was taught
Mm-hmm.
when I was younger? Like, yeah, it makes you think.
Are you
You made me
settling?
think.
That's what
Yeah,
she said. Are you settling? I know a lot of women that settle. My grandma, my dear grandma, I love her to death. Grandma used to always tell us, even if it was something she didn't want to do, she would always say, I said I will to the matrimony.
Mm-hmm. And that's
So
a
it's
problem.
like,
It's
but you
like
know, that was a
for the
different
sake
time.
of that's submission. Like I view submission sometimes as for the sake of I'm gonna do this just for the sake of doing it. That way I ain't gotta hear them out. Like, but yet you're not happy when you submit to someone. It should be reciprocal. It should be a mutual submission.
you're
I'm not
right.
just submitting. You have to submit too.
Girl, I love it. I love it. I
And
agree. It makes you rethink.
It
And
does.
also,
Yeah.
right, and submission, your level and definition of submission should change. It shouldn't always be the same thing over and over again, because our needs change daily, second, every hour, every minute. Our needs change. So the expectation of submission, your expectation of submission should change as well. Like what I submitted to in January, I'm not submitting to right now in April, because I'm not that same person that I was in
Right.
January.
You're right. You are
What I
so right.
submitted to in 2020, I'm not in no 2022. And
Right.
from 2022 into 2023, it's going to be totally different.
You're right. You're so
So
right.
now tell me, in a marriage, because we're talking about just the one physical person. So when you're in a marriage, do you think submission should change throughout the marriage? Like, should it be different 10 years later,
Yes.
or should it be the same?
No, it should change, because you aren't who you were 10 years ago. A marriage is like, it's all, you're always growing. You should not be married to the same person you married 10 years ago,
It's true.
because so much has happened to each of you individually and together, to where
The
some type
dynamics
of
of stuff
growth,
changes. Yeah.
right? Something changed. And you all, and it should be a conversation that is had
Yeah.
monthly.
And a
Like,
lot of times I find we're sometimes afraid to have those conversations
right.
because we're like, okay, I don't want to say that because I don't want to offend, or I'm just gonna go with that because that's what we've been doing
Yeah.
XYZ amount of time. And that goes
Mhm.
back to you saying, but you're settling. You're just settling for that behavior. You're
Mm-hmm.
settling for that in the moment. Is that truly what you want? Is that truly what you need for you to continually, daily grow and to be satisfied, fulfilled within your soul?
Right.
I don't want to just look like I'm okay on the outside. I need to feel that on the inside as well.
Right.
You know, so if
Right.
I can't verbalize and if we can't have a healthy dialogue, then we got a problem. We need to be able to state what it is that we want from each other without there being an issue. A lot of people have that issue. I'm growing daily in my marriage and continually change our growth. Yeah,
No.
it's true.
All right, you have to.
Yeah,
We have to get comfortable with uncomfortable conversations.
girl. That's you see you. That's what I was trying to say. You worded
No,
it the
I
way
got you. I got you.
you
We
worded
here.
it the way I wanted it
We
to
here.
go.
But that's also a
Ooh.
part of submission, because if I'm not comfortable having this uncomfortable conversation with you, then I shouldn't be with you. I can't submit to you.
You read this comment, Erica. Read this last comment.
I just did. So Jamonica says, I don't know what made me come on Facebook just now, but let me tell you, this has me reevaluating. Preach. I was just saying this to my mom. When you marry at first, it should not be the same person. It should not be the same person. Changes and growth has to happen. And
On
it
both parts. Both
on
parts.
both
You
parts,
can't
because
remain
there are
stagnant.
times one person will grow and the other one
Yeah.
will not.
Yeah.
And even if one is growing and the other one is not, your relationship is not growing.
Yeah.
And then you go back to that question. When is it okay to walk
To
away?
walk away. Yeah. Sometimes you gotta know when
No, you gotta
that's where
choose
the
you.
unequally yoked situation.
Girl, don't
Hey,
talk
And
about that
let's talk.
unequally
Oh,
yoked.
okay. You bring it in the yoke, and
but
yeah, that's
it's
big.
true.
No, it's big.
You,
It's
you
big
know what I'm
with
saying? Like
alignment.
then you're gonna live in turmoil and chaos because y'all ain't even on the same page when
Right.
you're not equally yoked.
Right. And you wake up looking like, who did I wake up beside?
Girl, I know
As
that's
Shay
how I was
said,
my first
Lucifer.
situation. I was like, Lord Jesus, why? I know everything ain't ordained by God. Why you let me do this, Jesus? Why did you let me do this? But it was to teach me a lesson. He said, if it's not growing, it's because it causes friction. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where them uncomfortable conversations come in. Or you sit in and you hold it in, and then it festers into something humongous. And then you got hate. You start feeling, I know there's sometimes when I'm so frustrated with other people, not my husband, he drives me crazy, but not like that. You could see it outwardly. I'm like, you can't even look at them because you just have so much built up that you need to get off of your chest, but it's an uncomfortable situation, so you hold back, and it's killing you. It's eating you up on the inside. I can't compromise that for myself no more.
The Bible also says obedience is better than sacrifice. So if your body is telling you that you shouldn't submit, but because you want this relationship, because just to say you have one, but it's killing you, what's the point?
Girl.
You sacrificing yourself.
Speak on that, Pastor Joy. I don't care
Yeah.
if you don't care about no titles. You got to get this
And
title
then
tonight,
some,
Pastor
and
Joy.
sometimes you gotta think about it. Like if we are to use the Bible, since this is where the hints of it's coming from, God didn't always provide the ram in the bush.
Bam.
Mm, mm,
Girl,
mm.
say that
Because if
again.
it
Say it louder again for the people in the back that didn't hear that.
God didn't always provide the ram in the bush.
Yeah.
Mm.
We
Yeah.
gotta
Joy,
think about it. He still brought the flood. He still had the fire, even though he took two. He took two it was two of animals, not two of people. But that's a whole nother lesson.
We're going to have to do that for another time.
Um,
Sure.
but I'm just saying, we sometimes like you sacrificing yourself. You are the sacrifice when you aren't
yeah.
obedient.
Mm-hmm.
Girl, you dropping a
Mm-hmm.
So
A
stagnant
lot.
relationships can drain both individuals and cause bitterness. Yeah, that's when them dirty looks start coming. You looking like can't even stand to be around them because it's no growth. And that's another thing too. People think that okay, because we're husband and wife, or because you're my children, we have to experience everything together. No, we don't. Because what we gonna come together and talk about if we together every day? If we're always experiencing the same stuff, then of course we can't grow individually because everything is within each other. Joy, where you went, girl? She's still here.
She's still on. I don't know what happened. I don't know if she clicked herself out of Restream.
No, man, I'm coming back, man.
Oh,
The food,
okay.
the stove
Oh,
just went off. The oven just went off. I'm trying to eat too, man. Hold on, hold on.
understand. So Jamonica is saying, I guess these are the
That's that talk
Jamonica,
that
and
talk.
I'm gonna have to I'm gonna send you my number so you can call me. You're gonna have to text me first though, because my phone's set up to send unknown numbers to the voicemail. All right, Alex said, interesting. Takara says, and don't be that ram because the ram got killed.
Mm.
Man,
I don't
y'all,
want to
y'all.
die. Him the bush dog. What you gotta
And
say
listen,
about
and sometimes the ram that sent could be a relative, could be a loved one. It could even be you. So you don't know what the lamb is or who the ram is.
Mm. Dr. Latanya says, I'm living in alignment with the man whom spiritually our soul is already joined and our growth has been phenomenal while walking through the fiery furnace. Lord Jesus, if y'all hit by her furnace. And
it?
fighting against those who don't want to see our growth. But change and growth is necessary. It is very much so, very necessary. And it's necessary for both people to change and grow together. Because
Yeah.
again, if one person growing and the other one is not growing, the relationship's still in the same
Girl,
spot. Every person.
you still at the stop sign. Nobody
Yeah.
can know it's or
Hmm.
you still waiting for that
Oh,
get
you
out
at
and
that
get up quick
yield,
car. Yeah. You
like
fixing to
one
go
going
two
this way,
separate.
one going that way.
Yes.
Uh
Hmm.
huh. Mm-hmm.
You're right.
So Joy, I heard you say something about alignment, and Tanya mentioned alignment. So what when you say alignment, as far as submission, I think we were talking about being unequally yoked. How would you put those two in? So if you know it's someone that you're married to, but you also know in yourself that you're not aligned with them, you know that you're unequally yoked to them, but you're married, should you still submit to them? Even if they are following the hierarchy, we're saying that they're submitted to God.
Yeah.
It's a conversation that should be had before you just walk away. You allow that person to realign with you. Just like anything, you're gonna disconnect sometimes. Sometimes you're gonna disconnect. But you should try to do something to reconnect. Now, if no effort is put forth in the reconnection or to realign yourself, kind of like with your tires in your car. When you get your oil change, you're supposed to get your tires realigned. So if get it balanced. So if it's still not balanced or there's still no alignment, then walk away.
And you still gonna be on a rocky. You're
On
still gonna
right,
be
it's
riding dirty.
nothing is gonna change. The tire gonna
It's
blow out
true.
soon. An accident is gonna happen. The tire gonna blow, and now you
Swerving all over the
right.
place. You just all over the place.
Right. And so when
All
it
over the
comes
place.
to the being equally yoked and the alignment part of submission, I don't go into any ship, whether it's a friendship or relationship or just anything, not 100%. Because relationships or any ships should be 100-100. It shouldn't be no 50-50, 80-20, sixty
That's
forty,
right. You right.
7-30. It should be 100-100. Why?
We
Because I'm
both
not going
gotta
to
give it
always be
all.
at 100. I'm not always going to be at 100. So when I'm at 80, but you at 100, I'm going to need your 20%. So you should be able to pour
Give me me.
20% in me and still be full. And we are still aligned because now we are both at 100. Now we both are yoked equally now. You are supporting me.
Mm.
We are aligned. We are on one accord. And when you are at 50 and I show up at 100, now I can give you my 50 and we still together. We still aligned. We still equally yoked. But if I'm not equally yoked with you or we are not aligned, I can't pour in you.
It's true.
I'm not going to be
Say
able to
that.
pour in you.
Can't
Be-
pass go. Can't collect two
it
hundred
can't You
dollars.
can't do none of that.
You
And then
can't.
some
You
I
stuck.
mean, and then I'm not gonna keep pouring in you and refilling you when I'm not being refilled. Because
You can't keep
empty
withdrawing.
cups don't have nothing to
That's like a bank account, baby. You can't go keep going withdraw money from the bank and not depositing nothing. You're gonna
right.
be in the negative
Because
after a while.
eventually you're going to be in the negative. Yep.
Right. And then
Yes.
also you can't buy one credit card to pay off another credit card to pay off another credit card. After a
Robbing
while,
Peter to pay Paul. And then you
it's gonna
still
catch up to
owing at
you.
the end.
Right. Right.
You still owing.
You still broke.
Mm.
Mm, mm.
You still
Ooh.
unaligned. You
You
still
still
not yoked.
Come October, girl, when you get them papers, we need you to be a marital counselor, premarital counseling, because I'm telling you, You dropping some gems. You dropping stuff that a lot of pastors ain't saying.
Right. And so, thank you. I appreciate it. But you got to think about it. The reason why the King's Horsemen couldn't put Humpty Dumpty together again was because the King's Horsemen didn't know Humpty Dumpty. They didn't know who he was. They didn't even know how he was broken. How did he break himself?
Yeah.
They
Girl, you
weren't
done took
yoked
it back to
together.
kindergarten and made that
They were
thing
not
real.
aligned. Like, I'm just how
Girl.
can you submit to somebody who doesn't even know how you were broken? Don't even know your pieces. Don't even
Girl.
understand you. So how can I
Girl.
naturally, as a woman, how can I naturally submit a trusting person when this person don't even trust themselves? They don't even.
Girl. Now that there, you said a mouthful right there. That there was a word for real.
We need to pass the collection plate. We got to give the visiting
Sister
pastor.
John, what's your cash app, girl?
Ooh, girl, you got me wanting to jump up here and shout. Girl, that thing was good. What you just said.
I'm, I'm, I'm just saying, like
Now,
you
Terrence,
look
you see
at.
what Terrence said? If your spouse is in alignment with the hierarchy, we do submit. So you're saying,
Right.
Terrence, if y'all you will
I
submit
was
as
just ready to
well.
say what he said. I would listen. A when a man finds a woman, this is what my granddad. He
Oh,
becomes She becomes his weakness. But when a woman finds a man, she becomes his strength. And that's exactly what he's
Joy,
saying.
I just posted that the other day, girl.
you
It's
did.
called the power of
The
exchange.
power switch. Yeah. Alignment. Hello,
Yes.
hierarchy alignment.
Yes, ma'am.
So
Yes,
that,
And that's
ma'am.
a true statement, Jamonica. Right. If you're not happy, how can you make someone else happy? My husband and I had this conversation years back. How I can't continually give you happiness that don't come from me. You got to be happy within yourself. Then I can add, I can give some extra shine to your happiness, but I can't make you happy 100%. You got to be happy from within.
and then everybody's definition of happy is different because what make you happy ain't gonna make me happy.
Right.
Joy, girl, you own her
See,
today.
I'm sorry, I'm an educator, so I define everything. I'm a musician too, so you got to define, you got to explain everything, define it. That's just how my brain works in order to make sense.
We love your brain, girl. Keep it coming. Keep it coming.
Okay,
These comments coming
Alex
through.
said, what do y'all think about getting professional counseling? Do you think it's necessary?
Yes, I'm in
Yes,
counseling. I'm in.
I'm
very
in counseling
necessary.
too. I advocate for counseling.
Me
Yes.
too.
There's
Yes.
nothing wrong
Somebody
with
to listen to
counseling.
that and give you some gems on some tools, coping mechanisms, because a lot of times, some, especially depending on your situation, a lot of times you don't have anybody that can relate to what you're going through,
Hmm.
or you don't have an unbiased party to be able to say, well, look at it this way, or here's a nugget for you to cope with it this way. So yeah, counseling is very, very necessary.
Right,
Very
and then don't settle on just one counselor. Counsel search
Mm-hmm.
for certain counselors. Like
yeah,
some, yeah, you got to find one that's not gonna just sit there and look at you and say, okay, hmm,
yeah.
hmm, all right, see you next week.
What
No,
what what
Yeah,
did you
collect that
join?
two hundred and
they
fifty
be like,
dollars for that 30 minutes.
okay, I like that. All right,
Mm-hmm.
hmm.
Mm-hmm.
How
Mm-hmm.
did that make you feel? Oh,
Yeah,
but
I ain't
give
gonna
you
lie. I
no.
done went through several, and I finally found one who aligned with me, but also she aligned with my soul.
That's important.
Finally,
Yeah,
finally,
yeah.
somebody that could touch the inner parts and actually help me to put back together my broken pieces. Cause I don't want to be like Humpty Dumpty. I don't want to come to you
Girl, me
broke.
either. I don't need
Mhm.
Humpty people to come try. No, I need to be rebuilt. But I still want the cracks to show, because them cracks helped me to build character. I still like to see the war wounds, because it's a reminder of what I've been through, and then it
Mm,
shows who I am in the present. Thank you for
I
doing
would
that.
just get ready to. I would just get ready
say
to
that.
jump on that because when there's something in, I can't, don't quote me, it's either Japanese or Chinese culture. When a pot breaks, they put gold in the cracks to show that the cup is still worthy. It still has worth in
Yes,
its
ma'am.
cracks.
Yes, ma'am.
I like
And
that.
that's important. That is important. Okay, Terrence says happiness is contingent on what happened. Joy is what we need because you experience it regardless of what happened. It's true. True
Absolutely.
statement.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but
Absolutely.
and finally I'm at a place where I can openly talk about my war wounds that I have and not let it to bring me back into a dark space. This is what I went through. This is what I tell my story all the time to people. This is what I've gone through. But look who I am today. I don't look like what I've been through back then. You see them go, you'll see them cracks. But this, I had to go through some stuff to get there. I had to be broken to get to where I am. But it brings it back to this. Oh, Erica, you smiling. Somebody said something?
Now, I'm smiling at what you're saying. Yeah, I put that on the screen. Yeah, find a counselor who can help you dive deep and find the divine version of yourself.
Right.
Love it. Love it. Love
Submission,
it.
like submission is also intimate. And
Yes.
and intimacy to me is intimacy.
Intimacy.
Girl, let me put that down in my
Because
notes.
you are seeing a part of me that nobody else gets to see. So
Intimacy.
in order for us to be aligned, equally yoked, you have to see into me. Into me see, and vice versa. If I'm going to submit to you, you have to see into me, and vice versa.
That's a good way. That's a good way to think about it.
And I'm just not going to let anybody see me.
Right. Not everybody is worthy of that.
Right.
Not everybody is worthy of that. Erica, can you read what Dr. Latanya Davis said?
I'm a psychologist and a lawyer. After listening to clients and carrying their secrets and burdens, I need counseling to function daily, but to spiritually stay cleansed.
There you go.
And y'all,
Yeah.
she's into because she done listen to some of my no, they're carrying some of my burdens.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
we all need that counseling, and it's so taboo in our community, and I hate that it is, because it's embedded in us. It was taught to us from back in the times when we were put here, didn't want to be here, but it was taught in the times that you got to be strong, you got to sweep it under, keep
Yeah.
going. No matter how many times you get the whips on the back, you got to keep going, keep working,
Yeah.
keep it strong. No matter how many times they snatch your kids from you, or how many times you sit and you watch your loved ones go, you got to keep being strong. And nothing's wrong with trying to be strong, but sometimes you got to release some of that.
Yes.
I try to tell all of the people who look like me, we need to get comfortable with going to counseling. What's that thing that they like to say? Uh normalize,
Yeah.
normalize counseling within the
Yes.
Black community.
And
Yes.
start early too. That way you don't have grown
Yeah.
adults still with children mindset.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I tell
You
my
got
kids
broken
that.
children as adults,
Yes.
living as adults, broken
Yep.
children.
And you just carry, and then that's where you carrying it in. That carries over into their children, and then you start building generational curses
Right.
because you were told to
Mhm.
not talk about it. I gotta be quiet. I can't say that. They
What go
gonna
on in this
That's gonna
house,
make
stay
so
in
and
this
so
house.
look bad if you say that. You know.
Mhm.
Well,
That's
what
it.
about
Mhm.
the way I feel on the inside?
Mm-hmm.
See, y'all,
Right.
now we done gone to a whole we done gone
We
to a
have
whole
we have we
different
way over our
No,
time.
I'm not but shit. But all of that has to do with submission, though. If you think
Yeah,
about it, all of that plays into submitting.
yeah, yeah,
Because if you are not in a mental capacity to not only submit but understand why they are submitting to you, then submission and submitting is pointless. It's no need to submit. Whether you are a male or a female, it's pointless.
yeah.
Mhm.
True,
Mhm.
true, true.
Mhm.
Some people cannot
Terrence
handle your
says
private life. Yes.
they can't.
Baby, if you got to just look on the outer and not know
Mhm.
what, now you would wonder how some people are saying, how they're still walking.
Intimacy.
Right.
What do I say?
Intimacy.
Intimacy.
That's what
Yeah,
intimacy
you
is
would
to me.
wonder. You
And
would
it's
wonder.
not physical. I'm not trying to be intimate with you just physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually.
Yeah,
And
and
see,
that,
that's what we get. That's where them lines get crossed. When we
yeah,
become
all
intimate
great.
physically first.
Then
Yeah,
you
Because
we
think you're
now,
crazy.
right,
we
just have
do.
you walking around here.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
just dumb, just stuck being
Right.
stupid,
Fool.
because you allowed the physical to come before you were connected with them mentally, emotionally.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
girl, that's a
That's what
whole
I'm
nother.
saying. That hierarchy is important, man.
It
When it comes
is.
to
It is.
submission.
It
It
is
is.
very much so. Very much so. Lord, yeah, we about on an hour, but this was so good.
Yeah, this was
This was
definitely a good.
so good. Like
And
Joy,
Joy,
I'm
we
so glad you
appreciate you
got
hopping
one.
on with us, girl, and bringing some clarity, because you sure dropped some nuggets that I'm sitting here like, okay, I'm about to have a little alone time with myself when everybody's sleeping,
Yeah,
so I can
listen, you
reevaluate and
gotta listen.
rethink.
You gotta have some alone time with yourself
Yeah,
to
yeah,
realign with yourself. Sometimes
yeah,
you, before you can realign with anybody else, you gotta be in alignment with yourself.
yeah.
Mm, mm,
Most
mm.
definitely.
That's a
Most definitely.
word. That's a word.
Like
That's a
before I
word.
can take care of anybody else, I gotta take care of self.
Yeah,
Right.
because
Right.
you're the only one that can ensure that you're good at the end of the day. You can't
Absolutely.
depend on anybody else to make sure that
Right.
you're good the way
Right.
you're gonna make sure that you're good.
Right.
Nobody else is responsible for you but you at the,
Right.
you know what I'm saying?
At the end of the day.
At the end of the day. My girlfriend DeShannon likes to say that at the end of the day. Yep, at
Mm-hmm.
the end of the day, that's what it is, you
Yep.
know?
Even at the end of the judgment day.
Right. I was just
Mm-hmm.
gonna say
Because
that.
you the only one that gonna stand before.
That's yep.
Yes.
I was just about to say that. My grandma said, when you came in this world, who came out with you? And when you leave here, who gonna leave with you?
Girl, say
You
that.
yourself and you,
Cause who in that box with you besides you?
nobody.
That's it. That's it. Make sure yourself is good. Wait a minute, I missed it. Make sure yourself is good first. You can't deal with others if you are not good.
It's true.
Absolutely.
Right? Cause
It's
then,
true.
cause then you gonna bleed on me, and I ain't even cut you.
Man, yes. I don't want them stains on me from somebody else's stuff.
Ooh, that
Girl,
was
nobody got
good
time
what
for
you
that.
said.
I don't, I don't want to, and I don't want to bleed on nobody else either, cause it's not
It's
your fault.
true. It's not fair. It's
It's
not.
not fair, right? It's
Mm,
not fair for me to bleed on you when you didn't even cause me to bleed.
it's true.
But then they also say hurt people hurt people.
Yeah.
So when you catch yourself bleeding, you're hurting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Turn
Yeah.
right around and hurt that person that did nothing to you, because hurt
Yeah.
people hurt people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still on this Humpty Dumpty. You got me with that.
Me too.
When I come to you, I'm not coming as Humpty, because the Kingsmen don't know Humpty. They
Right.
can't put it together.
Think about it now. Here are supposed to be important people, geniuses. They're the king's men, and they sitting there scratching their heads, and they couldn't even put Humpty.
Just couldn't put Humpty together again because they didn't know how to put Humpty together because they didn't know Humpty.
They didn't know Humpty.
Girl, that's a good one. You put that down in the notes,
I
Erica.
Girl, it's embedded in the notes. That is good. And
Yeah.
come October again, y'all. Joy is going to be a marital counseling. I am speaking that into existence from my lips to God's ears, because we need
Hallelujah.
more people like you. More people like you. There may be less divorces, because more people like you will make us face the truth to say, I ain't lying with you.
Yep.
Mm-mm.
Let's not even do this.
But you got to
Because
be
not
Let's
okay
everything
with
is
it
do
too,
this.
ordained by God. Not every
right?
marriage is ordained by God.
And when you praying and you get it, you got to be specific, because well, yeah, that's a whole nother. You got to be
I
specific with your
say
prayer.
that. You gotta talk to
Gotta be
God and tell him
specific.
exactly what
Yep.
your desire is. And if it is his will, he's gonna grant it to you. But you gotta be specific. I say that all the time.
But when you get it, you got to continue to pray for it, because you can get it and then really not know what to do with it, and then wonder why you lost it.
And then you be sitting there looking crazy. Oh Lord, why me now? I
Mm.
gave you what you asked for,
Mm-hmm.
and you didn't appreciate it. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull it back, and I'm gonna give it to somebody else who is going to be appreciative of it, and who
Mm-hmm.
is going to water it, who is going to
Mm-hmm.
take care of it. A lot of people don't think about that. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
people don't think about it like that. Oh, God gave me, and it just didn't work out. Now, what did you not do for it to not
Mm-hmm.
work out? You got
Right.
to, and that's another thing we as Black folk don't like to do. We don't like to hold ourselves accountable. We
There
don't
you
like to
go. Ooh,
verbalize we're not
ooh.
right. No, you should be okay with saying I'm wrong. If somebody comes to you, you made me feel a way. I apologize for the way that I made you feel.
Mm-hmm.
That was not my intention. We always on the defense.
Mhm.
I learned it take too much energy for me to always be defensive. I'm sorry if I made you
Mm-hmm.
feel. You know, we have to be okay with saying when we're not right, because we're not going to always be right. You're not going to win every situation. And not everybody sees things the same way. So be okay with we're not winning all the time. You
Right.
don't have to win all the time. You
You
know?
gotta. What's the point of arguing? It's okay to
Blood pressure go up.
right.
That's it.
It's okay to agree to disagree.
It is. It
We
is.
don't know how to do that.
We
Mm-mm.
don't.
We don't know how to do that. Don't know
No.
how to do that. That takes maturity and growth
It
in
Right.
does.
order to
And
know
accountability, and a lot of people ain't ready for that conversation.
ain't ready.
No.
Ain't ready. Ain't
No.
ready.
That's
People
That
joy
the
we need more
uncomfortable
people like you, girl.
conversations nobody want to have.
right, because and then again, then you have to address those emotions that we were taught never to address. Like when my students, yeah, they my kids. When my
Yeah.
kids get angry, I don't lash, and they before they lash out. Anger is a warning. It's a trigger. So before I'd be like, hey, what caused you to be angry? What
Yeah.
happened? Let's talk about this emotion.
Yeah.
So I mean, again, it has to start earlier. You
It
like
does.
with that alignment, like
But Joy, it's hard for it. Well, I don't know if parents are still saying this. I know my parent used to say, "What go on in this house, stay in this house." So you're taught as a child to not take it outside of the house. You're taught to not talk to anybody. So there are some conversations that need to be had with parents to
Yeah.
tell them, do not say these things to your kids, and you
yeah,
make them feel like, oh, I can't go talk to a counselor. Oh,
Yes.
I can't go
Yes.
talk to the pastor because
mhm.
mama told me what go on in this house, stay in this house.
But yet, mama and daddy outside the house already talking about it. So again, that goes back to that do as I say and not as I do type thing. But
And always remember, when two people are arguing, those on the outside looking at have no idea which one is the fool. Yes.
mhm,
Yes.
Ooh, you said it,
mhm,
Sakar. You said it. You said it.
Yes.
You
mhm,
said it.
Yes.
Mm.
Oh, thank you. We are so glad Alex said thank you, ladies, for your wisdom there. Because a lot of people don't like to address and talk about stuff like that, because it's like, I don't want to be judged because I feel this way, or I don't want to be judged because this is the way. No, let's talk about it. You have to talk about it, and you have to bring awareness to where the generations that come behind us
mhm,
will not make these same mistakes. It is a lot of people look at the way I deal with my kids, with my daughters. Sometimes I want to choke them, but we have a healthy enough relationship that they know they can come to me without
mhm,
feeling afraid to talk to me about stuff, because I leave those lines of communications open. And that goes back to
mhm,
what you said, Erica. Some things we were told we can't talk about.
mhm,
This day and age, we have to be able, because with social media, with the way the world feeds into them, we got to be able to let them talk about it, and we need to give them the game as well, because the
right,
world ain't gonna care how they give it to them.
right,
They're gonna give it to them, and they're gonna give them to them the wrong way, and then we're gonna be stuck
right,
trying to pull them back into the way that we know they're supposed to go.
right.
You better hope you can
But
pull
see,
them back in, because have you noticed a lot of our babies are.
Yeah.
all right. But see, Erica, to your point about what goes on in this house stays in the house, let's look at the time in which the reference was. They were using what we did in our house as a way to control us, to separate us. So hence the
Think about that.
to break and create this narrative of black homes are unstable homes. There's always fighting, there's bickering, there's not safe. So that was that narrative of, hey, what goes on in this house stays in this house because I gotta protect this house. We
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
have to stay together as a family. I'm not gonna allow somebody from the outside to come in and snatch what I worked hard on to keep this family on this foundation and sustain. So
Mm-hmm.
now that we are no longer in that, what goes on in this house stays in this house, we can still say that, but at the same time we have to give it like dots under it, little bullets. What goes on in this house stays in this house, yes, but if something happened in this house that I might not be aware of, say something,
Gotta
because
talk.
I'm
Yeah.
not always aware of what's going on inside of this house. Now
Right.
now what goes on in this house stays in the house, make me aware before you leave the house and say it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
that would be like the if I am going to use that, let me know what's going on in this house because home is supposed to be a safe place.
Your safe
Right.
haven. Yes,
Right.
ma'am.
Right. Your sanctuary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a temple. It's a place where you're supposed to find peace. It's
Yeah.
supposed to be your Jerusalem. And I preached
Yes.
about that Sunday. I preached about
Mm.
Where can we watch
when
that
Jesus,
Sunday?
when I
Supposed to
preached.
be your Jerusalem. Oh,
Yeah,
girl,
okay,
that's
like, all
good.
right, in the time in which Jerusalem was created, Jerusalem was a place, Jerusalem means the city of peace, and it was a safe haven with all its natural resources planted on a mount, like a fortress,
Mm.
protection, peace. But yet we were in Jerusalem, the city of peace, but there was no peace.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why when Jesus came in on a donkey, he wept. I preached that Sunday. Which is why, yeah, the King Jesus wept. He cried
Mm-hmm.
because here it is again. You're supposed to be submitting to a God who provides all your needs, but yet you're blinded. Because
Yes.
the scripture said that you're blinded. You're not in alignment. Which,
Girl,
which
you
is
dropping
why,
the nuggets
which is,
tonight, Joy.
which is why Jesus went into the temple, turned the tables, tore it up, made a scene, acted a fool. Which is why he cried. Which is why he wept audibly at
Mm-hmm.
that, publicly cried. Sometimes it's okay to cry in public.
Yeah, because we
It
taught that
is.
that's signs of weakness too. No, I'm
What is
I'm
weakness?
there you Joy, look now, Joy.
What is weakness? You gotta define it.
No, I
You
know.
know,
I'm just
I
saying,
want them
like
definitions.
what defines weakness? Because if crying is a form of weakness, then Jesus is weak. I serve a weak God because he cried. He
Right?
cried
Mm-mm.
twice.
Mm-mm.
That we
Mm-mm.
know of. That is written. Jesus probably cried some more because he
Of
crying over
course.
ignorant people who had all the resources in the world but was still just.
Doing
So what is weakness?
yeah. You're right though, but that's what they say. If you cry, you weak. You cry, you weak. You weak. You're right. What is weakness? Girl, let me put that in my notes,
Because I
Joy.
mean, because if I'm submitting to you, I'm supposed to be weak in the knees, hardly speak.
Mm.
Mm, 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 mm.
Joy, you dropping some nuggets now.
What I mean,
You
and
dropping
then what's
serious
wrong?
nuggets.
Like some things we might look strong, but it's really not strong. It's
Yeah.
It's that mask.
right,
It's that mask.
Yep. And the mask will they go eventually gotta come off. The
right,
mask
Yep.
gonna have to come off. You're gonna have to unveil yourself.
right. So you
And
might
you
as well,
don't wear that mask so long, when you take it off, it's literally everything's just gonna explode.
Yeah.
Because you
Yeah.
sat there and hid it. You kept it all up under there. Because you're told you can't be weak. I'll cry.
Me,
And I'll tell you in a minute,
me
that wasn't
too.
gave me tear ducts. You ain't gave me
I'm
no tear
weeping
ducts for me
Wanda,
not to
girl.
cry.
right, right,
Yep.
Sometimes crying, you need a good release.
Yeah.
right.
You know?
Like I said, it's cleansing. When you cry, it is a sense of peace and cleansing. You're
Mm-hmm.
sometimes when you cry, you don't even know why you're crying. You crying because your body needs to be released. That's why it
Well,
rains.
that's what it is. Whenever I just
Yeah,
be sitting there crying
yeah.
and can't explain, I be
Can
calling my girlfriend. I say, I don't even know why I'm crying.
right. It's
Don't
your
know.
body. It's a that's your body way of one of your body ways of releasing things. That's why when you cutting onions or something get you in your eye, you immediately cry because your body is trying to release what is not supposed to be in there, what is
Mm-hmm.
bothering.
I'm glad you said that. Now I know that it's okay for me to do that because I thought I was going crazy. Like, am I losing my mind? Because I'm just
Mm-mm.
sitting here crying with no explanation. Erica,
Right.
I done called you a bunch of times. Like, I don't even know why I'm crying.
Your
Girl,
your
I couldn't figure it out.
your subconscious. It's the stuff you don't hasn't come to your conscious yet. You are probably crying
Mm-hmm.
over a blessing that's coming your way that you probably forgot about. You don't know.
I'm all for the blessings, baby.
Say
Or
that, pal.
you're releasing something that you thought you let go, but you didn't know that you
But
were
you
still
did.
holding. So
Yeah.
sometimes you're crying and you don't understand why you're crying. You're releasing. You're submitting to whatever it is that was
Yes.
bothering you.
She brought it all back home to
I'm
Brought
saying
submission.
that submission right back
it,
in.
Yep.
What's your
that's
definition of
because
submission?
like you said, when you're crying is symbolic to weak, mourning, grief.
Right.
So you 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 submit to those emotions. So you're releasing it.
Yeah. Girl, you made a lot of stuff make sense for
I
me
ain't lying.
tonight.
And I mean, you done talk about submission from the terms that I
We was
didn't
not even thinking that. That's not what we was. Girl, we was
know.
when I
But
tell
you
you we
just
was
brought
not
it
even
all
there.
together.
But Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
Well,
guarantee you got a
ladies
bunch
and
of people
gents.
thinking. A bunch of people thinking tonight.
Yeah, girl, because I know I'm gonna think after we get off of this and I do my schoolwork, I'm going I'm gonna have some
Go
alone time.
submit to that schoolwork. Yeah.
Right.
Jesus Christ. Anywho, it's a
That's
whole nother.
I was in class myself on a
Yeah,
Thursday.
yeah,
On a
What
Thursday. But
Thursday?
ain't nothing wrong with it. Ain't nothing wrong with it,
Ain't
girl.
nothing wrong with
October corner.
right.
yeah.
And
But I'm
that
just,
Well,
marriage
my beautiful
around the
people.
corner too.
there you go.
Hmm,
Right down your level of submissions going from now. Give yourself 6 months of what you're gonna submit to, and I promise you that's gonna it's gonna change your life.
Terrence said we're creatures of release. That's why we
Give
sweat. Use the
myself
bathroom and
six
cry.
months
Yeah.
of what I'm gonna submit to.
Not even 6, do 3. I'm be easy.
That's an assignment.
Right.
We're
We
gonna address this in 3 months.
right.
Hmm.
But bathroom and cry. Right. Right.
Mm.
I like that. It's
Yeah.
Well,
it's
beautiful people, this has been a very informative,
Mm-hmm.
rejuvenating, eye-opening
Enlightening.
conversation because, like
Yes.
Erica said, we were not even. This is not where we were going with this,
Mm-mm.
but
Not
we are
at
grateful
all.
that God allowed us to be able to go there because it brought awareness to a lot of different people, and it's gonna make you go back into your thought process and really reevaluate who you are, what your desires are in life when it
mm,
comes to the areas that we talked about. Joy, we appreciate you. We
I
thank you
think
Yes.
hopping
you're
on and
welcome.
giving us
Yeah.
some clarity on a lot of the
Right.
questions that
Right.
we
You're welcome.
Mm-hmm.
needed to address,
I
girl.
appreciate it. You're
We
welcome. Erica, thank you
appreciate
for
you.
sending me the link just to join the live.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm so
girl.
glad you got on. Glad you got
Yes,
on because I'm
ma'am. Yes,
telling
Oh,
ma'am.
you,
and
you
you
done
said something
blessed some
about
people tonight.
your desires. Be careful what you desire because they become things you submit to that you might not need or want.
Girl, yes. I'm gonna
Because
just
the
hush my
desires
mouth
of
on
our
that one.
heart is not always what's best for us.
Girl,
There's a difference between needs and wants.
My husband
I'm
always
living
say
that,
that
and
whenever
you
I try to
gotta
go shopping,
again
there's a
be
difference
careful
between
what
the
you
need.
pray for and be specific because the desires of my heart, God gave it to me, but it wasn't what I needed.
All right.
It's
I
true.
mean, I
Now,
mean, we
now I'm
pray that.
praying, God,
We pray to
release
God.
me.
I mean, y'all, y'all know we pray that prayer. God, you said in your word that you would grant me the desires of my heart. My heart desires, and then you get it and be like, wait a minute,
I
God
ain't
didn't
know
give
it was
this
all
to
of
me.
this.
I
Yeah,
didn't know this is
God, this
what my
ain't what
heart really
I asked
wanted.
for.
Right,
And then
right.
he'll tell you, yeah, that is what you asked for. You asked for that.
Your heart
you
Yeah.
said,
you gotta get everything that come with it. And
right.
you gotta submit to the
There you go.
desires
To
of your
it,
heart.
to
That's what you
submit to it.
asked for.
There you go. You asked for it. Be careful.
Girl.
Be
And
careful.
not only you gotta submit to it, you gotta settle for it too. Girl,
There you
Joy,
go.
girl, you
There
dropped
go
some
that
nuggets
The,
settle
now.
word again.
submit and settle, man. You got it's time out for the sake of. For the sake of is killing people.
Yeah, you're right. You're so right. But Joy,
Very
you're
much
gonna
so.
be back. We're gonna have you back at some point. So get ready. So you can stop being shy because you're gonna have to be we're gonna have to have another conversation with you.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Because
Mm-hmm.
you've dropped some good nuggets and once again, truly we appreciate you coming on
Absolutely.
here and sharing
Absolutely.
with us. You know?
I appreciate the opportunity in the space. Erica said that once I joined her team, she was going to make me unshy, and so I guess this is
That's what you see what I'm saying?
You're
There
gonna
you
stop
go.
with that. I'm
It's
gonna have to
already
tell you that. My
started.
grandma used to say, "Stop being bashful."
It's
Mm-hmm.
already
But
started.
see, man, see, I'm a background person. I don't know. That's just my nature. Because I don't like the big. Some people the
Yeah,
big head bold side. That's just not me.
right.
Um. Uh. My brother and them call me the most humblest cocky person in the world,
Mm.
because everybody sees it, but I'm just like I'm good.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
appreciate the opportunity.
We
Thanks.
appreciate you.
Appreciate you for real.
Well, my beautiful people, we're gonna see y'all Not Thursday coming, but the next, in the next 2
The next
weeks.
one, and we're gonna come with some more topics. Let me cue up this music here. Let me cue up this music.
And
As
burn.
always, y'all, thank you so much for joining us. If you got on live, we thank you. Thank you for coming into the comments. If you're catching this afterwards, we thank you for tuning in to us.
Yes.
And thank y'all for being so patient with us as we try to work through these kinks. Like we said, we trying to make it better.
We're
for
a work
everybody.
in progress. We're a work
A
in
work in
progress.
progress. But we're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep going. And with that, y'all, we're gonna
Sweet tea and tangy lemonade talk. You know what we bout. Hosted by Gun and Gal. Hey, sweet tea and tangy lemonade talk. You know what we bout. Hosted by Gun and Gal. I heard everything sweeter in the South. Ain't no mistaking. Keep it real and authentic. Come and join the conversation. Talking about relationships. Have some fun. I know you wanna. Hanging with some Southern Bells. Mix it with some Arnold Palmer. Sweet tea and lemonade talk.
Hey, good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.